Welcome to Real Estate Coaching Radio, starring award-winning real estate coaches and #1 international best-selling authors, Tim and Julie Harris. This is the #1 daily radio show for realtors looking for a no BS, authentic, real-time coaching experience. What's really working in today's market, how to generate more leads, make more money, and have more time for what you love in your life. And now your hosts, Tim and Julie Harris.
Welcome back. This is day 4, and Julie and I are rating for you the top worst to least forms of lead generation. You heard that right. We've given you so far, 15 or 16 of we felt to be the worst sources of lead generation, and we're working our way up the list, and we're going to start showing you guys today and tomorrow what we feel to be the best forms of lead generation. And Julie, when we were making this list, it wasn't just our opinions. We were facting. And we are running all of our decisions through filters. What were those filters?
Well, those filters are things like return on your investment. That's how much time and money you spend versus what you can expect to get as a result. It has to do with the predictability, the duplicatability, and things of that nature. So we're applying those filters to making our assessment of the worst to first in lead generation. And as we go up the list, because we started with the worst, and as we go through the week, we're getting better and better in terms of quality, in terms of your ROI and your predictability. So that brings us to lead generation point number 16.
And do notice as we're going through these points, as we go up our list, we're showing you guys the things that are the most effective, that cost the least amount of money, that will get you the most results the quickest.
Yes.
That's what we're really focusing on. We're focusing on the lead sources that are going to be putting the most money in your pocket in the shortest period of time from you having, been yourself as a real estate professional, helping others folks buy or sell real estate. That is what our focus of this list has been. Not a lot of time spending on marketing, branding, ego type stuff, because we know all of you want to help as many people as you can and make as much money as you can in the shortest period of time with the least amount of hassle. So Julie, point number 16 is your homeowners association, assuming you have one.
Assuming you have one, which most of you do. So here's what you do. You go to the meetings. I know they're not the most exciting, earth-shattering thing to go to, but you should know what's going on in your neighborhood anyway. But now you'll be more interested in going for the sake of lead generation. Bring value. You don't have to be on the board to get to know who's running the neighborhood. Do this with your own HOA first. You can start attending any neighborhood HOA meetings where you have listings. Maybe you work 3 or 4 different buildings and you're selling condos. You can participate in those as well. You need to find out who is behind on their HOA dues. Sometimes this is an early indicator that they're going to sell. That's one angle. The only cost when you go to an HOA is your time. It can be effective assuming that you maintain the relationships and actually talk about real estate. I know you and I have always made it a point to be friends with our presidents of homeowners associations. We've been on boards before. I highly recommend if you're going to take a board position that you be the liaison. That way you don't have to deal with being the treasurer. The president has a lot of responsibility, that sort of thing.
So the problem with an HOA is you might end up having all the homeowners hate you.
Yeah, so don't do any of those
If the
positions.
HOA is a bunch of power-hungry jerks, as frankly they often are, that's usually what you see.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. So the liaison role that is usually something that you'll have to propose, that's where you essentially liaise between the HOA and the actual homeowners, and that puts you in a really powerful position of influence. But at the very least, show up at the meetings, participate, get to know the community, because you'll start getting insider information about, frankly, who the comings and the goings, who's maybe not paying their HOAs and all the rest of it, like Julie's point. And also remember, this is a good opportunity for you to also propose that, hey, you know what, would you like me to make a neighborhood directory? And we did a podcast series and a lot of Premier Coaching about how to create all kinds of added values to make it so that you are indeed contributing to your communities to the point where they're going to know, love, and trust you and do business with you, or at least send you a referral.
That's right. And when you're involved with your HOA, you're going to know who owns property that is a vacation rental by owner. I know one of my clients in Phoenix, Jeannie, is very involved in hers. She has a very high second homeowner contingency in her neighborhood. It's good for her to know who they are. She prospects high-end rents to turn those people into potential buyers and get to know the owners of those properties.
And remember, if you want our notes from today's podcast, go to harrisrealestatedaily.com. That is where all of our notes live, harrisrealestatedaily.com. It's a free newsletter, and you can go there whenever you like to and download that day's podcast as well as the notes. So just go to harrisrealestatedaily.com, drop in your email address, and remember when you do that, you have to pop over to your own email and you have to double opt in or confirm that you want the newsletter, and then it'll be sent to you every single day. Over like 32,000 of you get the newsletter every single day. Over like 50 or 60% of you open it and participate in it. So that should tell you this is something, if you're not already participating, you definitely want to receive our newsletter. It is free. It's our way of saying thank you for keeping this the #1 listened to daily podcast for real estate agents. And our notes are very long form. We usually cover probably 80% of what's in our notes. So if you want these notes for your own education or for teaching, maybe you're doing let's say an educational event for realtors, or you're training your team or agents in your brokerage or whatever, use our content as they're waiting for you if you're a subscriber to harrisrealestatedaily.com. Julie, point number 15.
Point number 15, neighborhood-specific online media. Now, we've talked a little bit about these in previous points with regards to networking and things of that nature, but I turned it into its own dedicated point here. Neighborhood-specific online media. Things like nextdoor.com / the name of your neighborhood or the name of the neighborhood you have listings in, as well as nextdoor.com for your listings or finding homes for your buyers. Also, Facebook neighborhood community groups. Front Porch Forum, that's a hyper-local platform for community discussions and classifieds where agents can engage with residents. You can put your listings on there, your coming soons. That's frontporchforum.com. Alignable is another one, a professional networking platform where you connect with your professional center of influence businesses. Meetup.com, I've mentioned before. Meetup has lots and lots of spin-offs where you can find groups to be part of and participate in. All of these are free. We like free. Be creative how you use them. Be consistent how you use them. Post wanted house requests for your buyers. You can post coming soon listings. You can post advertising your open houses. Using a combination of these is most effective and not being reliant on any one, but making sure that you have a profile on those neighborhood platforms.
So here's the thing. In a lot of markets, you're going to be just as good if all you do is a WhatsApp group. And that's in some, and actually I found that WhatsApp, if you're working with a lot of, like some of our communities, there are a lot of Hispanic folks in Florida, and they love WhatsApp. So a WhatsApp group by itself could be, and the nice thing, if you start the WhatsApp group, you also then could be the moderator of it, and you can decide who's allowed, who's not allowed, what the conversation topics are allowed to be. I'll do this next point so you can catch your breath. All right, point number 14, probate. So what is probate? Probate is highly motivated sellers. Probate properties often need to be sold quickly to settle an estate, making sellers highly motivated. Minimal competition. In most markets, you're going to have probate attorneys that don't have a lot of well-established agent relationships. So what a probate attorney does, and it depends on your state, is when someone passes away, the house has to be passed through probate. I do believe that even in California, which is a probate state, I do believe that if there's a will or a trust, it could skip that process. But essentially, that's the way it's supposed to happen. So the probate attorney will often be the person that's helping the out-of-state owners of the property that they just inherited to find real estate agents, because those out-of-state owners won't have local real estate agent contacts. So definitely probate. We've had coaching clients, I'm thinking of Bill Bird, who frankly build really robust businesses around having 3 or 4 different probate relationships. So how do you learn about this? Well, a couple easy ways. Obviously, we teach you how to do probate in Premier Coaching, and you can join Premier Coaching for free. Just go to premiercoaching.com or text the word Premier to 47372. Or if you'd like, and you already are ready to skip the line and go right to getting your leads, probate leads are a pain in the ass to get. That's the reason we partnered with a company called alltheleads.com, and I believe they're giving you a discount right now for $250. And what they'll do is they actually go and they'll find out the probate leads in your marketplace. They'll give you the attorney's phone numbers. The whole system is really turnkey. And and again, this link is in our show notes, but just remember this. It's alltheleads.com/Harris if you want the discount. So just go to alltheleads.com/Harris if you want the discount. Julie and I are friends with one of the owners of All the Leads. And I'll tell you the typical, I think, high impact user, if you're trying to wonder if you're going to be a good All the Leads type customer or probate agent, frankly, is if you're analytical. The analytical folks out there kill it with probate.
True.
Because you have few relationships and lots of opportunities. So you might be so introverted to the point where you're just never going to be very good at socializing. You just decided that's not for you. All right, we're not going to fight you. So if you're a coaching client, we'd ask what you will do. We're not going to try to convince you to do things that you won't do. And you might be, again, perfectly suited to having these high-level conversations and relationships with probate attorneys where they'll start consistently sending you business. And the relationships you have usually with those out-of-state owners, they're going to be more business-like as well because they're trying to liquidate the property so they can get paid. If those are the types of relationships, and if you think that's what you're well-suited for, go to alltheleads.com/Harris. All right, Julie, point number 13, referral-based companies.
All right, now these will cost you money, but only when you close the lead. So this is not the same as like buying impressions. And this is called referral-based companies. Typically, they charge up to 35% referral fees.
You didn't give enough. Okay, so there's a difference between essentially a referral. Here is somebody who definitely wants to buy or sell real estate, especially a listing referral. They're moving to Atlanta. They need to be in Atlanta in 90 days. They're working with this company. That is a locked-in listing lead, for example, that you're going to have to then go out and convince that seller to want to list with you versus maybe another agent that another referral companies are sending out, okay? You can get referral leads from a bunch of different sources. Costco has a great referral program, believe it or not, a lot of these other types of companies. That is different than, for example, getting leads from Zillow. That is different from buying leads on a social media campaign. A referral relationship, and there's professional ways to get these, and actually eXp Realty has got great referral relationships with some of the largest relo companies. So what's a relo company? So if you're a big company, like in every community, there's usually 5 or 6 big companies that do a lot of moving around of employees. They're bringing people in, they're moving people out all the time. And so those big companies will partner with relocation companies to handle all of their employees' moving needs, from obviously helping them find movers to turn off utilities, turn on utilities of their new home. But what they do as far as it's related to you is they help them choose real estate agents. When Julie and I were living in New Albany, Ohio, we worked with relo companies, and that was a great source of consistent business for us. They call us up, they send us an email, they say we have this family that's coming in, they're thinking about working at the Limited, they want to be touring this community and this community. What is your schedule? Book it, ready to go. And then, sure enough, that was oftentimes a very consistent source of business for us. Those are the types of referrals that we're talking about. And then we'd pay the relo company. At the time it was 25%, but I know some relo companies now are charging as much as 50%. You decide whether or not that's good business for you, depending on your profit.
But they do tend to be qualified, motivated leads.
Well, there are 100% qualified motivated
they're
leads.
Not just random impressions, right? Okay, so you were talking about corporate relocation. That comes with a referral fee. There are also companies whose mission is this type of business. HomeLight, Referral Exchange, Opcity, UpNest, there's tons of them. Now, some of them have gone to sign-up fees. It didn't used to be that way, but some of them have a sign-up fee in addition to the referral fee.
But these companies are not the same as as relocation companies. So if you want to, for example, if you're an eXp Realty agent, you have to be relo certified, and then you could actually start getting real relo leads from real relocation companies. These companies basically generate leads, then sell you the leads. Not so different than, say, for example, a Zillow or something like that. So real relocation companies and these companies that send you a referral, the lead source is going to be better than what you get from, say, just a straight up company selling you a buyer lead. But understand there are differences. We talked yesterday about you guys joining with Julie and I at eXp Realty. And when you do, we'll show you how to basically become relo certified. If you're wanting to learn more about eXp Realty and why thousands of agents are joining with Julie and I every single year, you can text the letters EXP to 47372, or simply scroll down below, click the link, and you can learn more about our eXp Realty group. Or if you're ready to join eXp and you're just looking for a sponsor that'll be very proactive in your success in real estate, do consider Julie and I. We're officially applying for the job of being your eXp Realty sponsor. Text me directly at 512-758-0206. All right, Julie, point number 12.
All right, point number 12 I really like because a lot of our coaching clients have gotten some very good results with these. And this is buyer and or seller seminars. These can be in person, such as a lunch and learn type of experience at your office, at a restaurant or a coffee shop, or they could be online like Facebook Live. Premier Coaching teaches you the content and the system for running these seminars. What are you supposed to be presenting? Who can you make these presentations with, like your mortgage lender, somebody like that? What to expect. Now, this has very little expenditure and can get really killer results. Even from a Facebook Live session, which is a free session, assuming that you advertise it well and you get at least 10 people to show up, so that's a relatively low bar, Many of our coaching clients have gotten at least 1 to 2 closable leads from each of those types of sessions, especially the Facebook Live stuff. Tammy Irby does these really regularly for mostly buyers, but she also gets listing leads from that. Has maybe a 20-minute presentation about a specific topic, and then has a Q&A session, and then that leads to some pre-qualification conversations.
Well, Jonna Weber has built a really great
That's
network
right, Jonna.
around investing.
Yes, that's another great way to go about it.
And so what she does is essentially exactly the same thing. But really where you have to be mentally directing all this traffic to is a live event, because that's when you make the most substantial relationships.
That's right. And if you're somebody like Jonna or Tammy, one of the things I think that really works for both of those ladies is that they do it consistently.
Yep.
They're not just dabbling and saying, hey, I'm going to try a seminar out and see how it goes. They have a system, and they do it, I think, at least weekly. All right, the next one is number 11, and I don't have a ton of notes, so that's probably a Tim topic. Property-specific pay-per-click. We talked about pay-per-click earlier with regards to having some kind of specific target, whether that was buyers or sellers. You can do it property-specific. I see this a lot on our local ones where it's like, there's a new listing here, you have the pay-per-click for that particular property.
Well, but that works when you essentially have, if you're only, again, the ideal situation where you see most of the agents that are most successful is they're going to specialize in, for example, the bird streets out in LA, right? So if they essentially can build a list that they can load then to, say, for example, one of these platforms, Julie said Zillow or Realtor.com, but also you could even do this on Google. And then you're running ads specifically and only to those people that are in that exact list that you loaded. That actually can be very powerful. But again, what you're going to run them to is an open house. You're going to want to, if you're going to do offline marketing and lead generation, you're going to want to run them to a live event. It just is the same as our previous event where you're doing live events for buyers or sellers or investors. The whole movement you need to be focused towards is online to offline, because that's where you're going to make your meaningful relationships.
All right, number 10 is divorce attorneys. The divorce decree states that a home must be sold, how the proceeds will be split, and when it should occur. In other words, pretty motivated seller, right? It costs little money and little time, but works far better with multiple attorney relationships who you then speak with regularly. Again, not just one relationship, although one relationship can give you multiple leads, but ideally you have 5 or 6 different divorce attorney relationships.
Okay, so we're moving forward. And so the divorce attorneys is not business for everybody. Not everyone's going to want to be dealing with divorcing people.
Another analytical type thing, though.
Yeah, you have to have a thick skin too, because there's always going to be a little turbulence in there.
Yeah.
But remember what Julie said. She gave you a little tip. If you go on a listing appointment and the couple unfortunately is getting separated, ask if the divorce decree has been actually issued, because if it hasn't, then chances are the house won't be allowed to be sold prior to the divorce decree, which is the order of how the assets are going to be liquidated. All right, we're going to move on to point number 8. We're going to go right to point number 8, and that is small and medium-sized builders, and this is an absolute cash cow.
I love this one. Okay.
Well, you know what? You should combine 8 and 7 because they're kind of the same thing.
We can. Okay, so as you can see, we're moving towards the best sources for leads. This is where I think it gets really exciting. Number 8, small and medium-sized builders. And we would add to that point number 7, new construction salespeople. So let's take this one at a time. Small and medium-sized builders. Join your builder association. Get the guide of who's building what and where. That's just an efficiency tool. It's a directory of builders. How many homes they're building, what are the price ranges, what are the neighborhoods, and what is the contact information. You can also search for expired new construction in your MLS and visit builder sites like newhomesource.com is one that I use with coaching clients to find ones that are not in your MLS. So what we're talking about, small and medium-sized builders, these are not like, Pulte Homes or MI. These are guys that build like maybe 5 to 25 homes per year. You can have a tighter relationship. They've always got something under construction. Maybe you bring your own buyer there. But I like this because it takes very little time and money to make the relationship. You can have one builder relationship and have multiple listing opportunities. Remember, one of our filters was to lead more with listing opportunities than with buyer lead sources. Builders are great for that. When you have a house under construction that you have listed, it generates an endless supply of listings. I remember distinctly, I think you will too, one of our best springs when we were selling in New Albany Country Club was when we had several new construction homes with 2 or 3 different builders, all being built at once. All of them were advertising like summer completion. We got so much relocation business from that. We got other builder business from that. We had open house opportunities from that, just listed, just sold, signed traffic, home brochures, the whole nine.
Well, how do you find the builders? Julie said newhomesource.com, but you can also get the directory for your local BIA and the builder, I don't even remember.
Builder Association.
Yeah, and then assuming there is one, and but just drive around and see whose signs you see. Go to find out, like for example, you might want to go to property records and see if any permits are being pulled.
Yep.
And see who the builder is. Go do some homework. Spend some
Title
time on
agents
this.
know this stuff too.
Yep, exactly. All right, now point number 7 is a huge point. So when you're dealing with the small, medium-sized builders, your chances are you're dealing with Bob the builder himself.
Yep.
But when you meander into point number 7, which is new construction salespeople, then you are dealing with a lot of the, well, I'd say medium to large-sized builders. That is when you're dealing with Pulte Homes and things like that. But we have droves, hundreds of coaching clients who make millions and millions of dollars a year just from point number 7.
Yes, I love point number 7. We've done dedicated podcasts on this, and a large part of Premier Coaching is with this, and all of the coaches participate in this particular one. New construction salespeople. Who do those new construction salespeople refer their resale business to? Okay, so what are we talking about? With the medium and larger builders, this is where you have model homes. That could be a trailer on the site on up to 6 or 8 different already built different models where you've got a salesperson. They're in charge of selling that inventory.
Let's give a little more color, okay?
Sure.
So for the most part, they're going to be selling new construction homes to people that have homes to sell. Hopefully we just bridged the gap for you in your seeing of the opportunity.
I'm building a house, but I have a house that I have to sell because I don't want to own 2 homes. And what happens is some builders say there's no home sale contingency allowed, period. But a lot of them, because the house takes a while to build, will say you can't be a contingent on home sale after we're framing it or after drywall. You have to remove that home sale contingency. It's on you. It's either sold or it's not. And if you don't, you get to start over.
Now, why would that new construction rep want to actually work with you to send you their resale listing leads? Well, wouldn't they want to list those themselves? Nope. Because 99% of the time, they're not allowed to take business. They don't have real estate licenses, or if they do, they're not allowed to take resale business because they're employees of the builder, okay? So why would they want to actually do business with you? The reason is because you're bringing them build clients. When you have a buyer that's in that price range, that's in that market, even that market adjacent, make them, have them go out and meet that new build rep. And when you're there, don't say anything. Let the new build rep form the relationship and do their own job. They know how to do it better than you do. And that's essentially reciprocity, playing into your, essentially the way it works. People are going to want to thank you. And so if you do that consistently, and by consistently, maybe it's 6 times, maybe it's 10 times over a short period of time, I promise you, they're going to start seeing you as someone who's trying to help them, and they will reciprocate. Oh, and by the way, you're going to sell some new construction as well.
Yes, and these same new build reps that you're networking with, becoming friends with, Coach Rochelle has several of these relationships. She brings them coffee. None of this costs very much time or money. Those same new construction reps also will give you the front line on maybe a deal fell apart and there's already a house that's been built. That's a spec home. You probably have a buyer that doesn't have time to build that can buy that. So many different directions you can go with new construction. It's one of my favorite spokes.
Yeah, definitely. Depending on the market, it's unbelievably powerful. The big builders won't generally list their properties. The medium-sized and small ones will. But still, that doesn't mean you can't get a plethora of resale listing leads from these guys. And pretty much in every marketplace, the new construction is going to be in the move-up price ranges because that's the place where these builders can make the most profit, which means every single one of their build clients is going to have a house to sell.
That's right. Now, just to hover on this for a second, because there's so many directions you can go. One of our coaching clients in Texas was following this book, getting to know her new construction salespeople, asking about resales. That actually led a different direction where they were opening up a new project. They only had 3 models. They didn't have all 5 or 6 of them built yet. They didn't have enough new construction salespeople hired. They said, I'll tell you what, you can be in this model. You don't have to be an employee of us, but you have to learn the product and you can be there every other weekend until we open it up. If you sell, I think this was KB Homes, and I think their deal was if she sold it, she would make 3 or 4% on whatever of their product they sold. But if the buyer that came into the model didn't build with them, she got to keep that lead and sell them something else. So that turned into a whole bunch of other things. But why did she get that opportunity? Because she was visiting with the new construction.
We're not going to be able to cover all the new construction points. Obviously, we teach them this in Premier
exciting.
Coaching. Well, because look, most of these new construction, these jumbo subdivisions, there's usually 5 or 6 competing new construction builders. To build on what Julie just said, let's say, for example, you're helping out, Bob, the new construction rep, and let's say he wants to take the weekend off, and you're going to go in there and volunteer and do essentially his job, but be his assistant. Well, those people walk in, those are all potential build clients. And if they might not be for Bob, they might be for one of the 5 or 6 other new construction builders that are there. And new construction, whether you guys know it or not, usually pays a premium commission. You can usually get more than whatever the market rate buyer agent commission is. And remember, builders have a secret, they will buy the rates down and make it so the payments are less, making it even more appealing to your prospective buyers. So if you have new construction in your marketplace, definitely join Premier Coaching and definitely lean into our whole new construction system, because it, for many of you, will be the thing that makes it so that you have your best year ever, and your best year after that, and your best year after that, and your best year after that.
That's right. And some of you, this is a really big new thought, this new construction spoke. You might not have that much exposure to it because you haven't searched for it in your MLS, or it might not be in your MLS. Use newhomesource.com by zip code. Click around on the map, maybe not your particular micro area that you're used to working. Maybe it doesn't have a lot of new construction, but if you click on the zip code next to it on the map, it will reveal to you who's building what where, just as an entry to being aware of what new construction is out there. If this sounds exciting to you, as many of the other spokes do, of course, all you have to do is go and sign up for Premier Coaching.
Yep. Okay, so we're going to be rounding the bend today with a reminder to make sure that you are joining Premier Coaching. Just go to premiercoaching.com or texting the word Premier to 47372. And tomorrow is point 5 through number 1.
That's right.
Of the worst to best lead generation sources. So tomorrow is going to be the lead generation sources that you have all been waiting for. So make sure you listen to tomorrow's podcast. Have a fantastic day. We'll talk with you on the show tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.